All right, hello, welcome. My name is Jason Welsh, and this is a small tip for those who like to model in hard edge geometry and like to transfer things over to Zbrush to texturize them. Okay, so here I have a seamlessly all solid object, and actually I went in here behind your back and did a few cuts, but I'm going to do a couple more. Okay, so I cut the model up based on where I want new textures to appear within ZBrush. That way when I do a polygroup, it's very easy to texturize it within ZBrush. So I'm just going to go through this process real quick on a couple other parts. So before you get into ZBrush, you just decide where you're going to have different kind of textures. Okay, for example, on this fretboard, or whatever they call it on a violin, I want this black within ZBrush, and I want this a wood grain. So that would be really hard to paint because of the simple fact that I don't have a real close edge loop right here. So what I'm going to do is highlight all the edges in this area all the way around, a couple at a time, and ending at the extraordinary vertices that are in the corner here. Extraordinary vertices appear when three edges appear on one vertex, usually causing no edge loop in that area. So you have to highlight and then go to edge loop by holding control right clicking. Okay, so there we go, and what I'm going to do is detach component. Okay, so there's that one, and again I want to do this for the back one too. Then when I'm all done, I'll show you what other cuts I made. Okay, and control right click edge loop, detach component. Okay, good. So yeah, as I said, the rest of them were cut already. So mesh separate, and you'll find out that I did this piece, 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 and this piece. Alright, so now the only thing bad about detached component is this. When you go to the vertice on any one detached component, you'll find out that it is actually cut in a certain way where it is now split. Okay, so there is a really quick way to fix that. For each object that you have detached, you have to go to the vertice mode by right clicking, going to vertice, and go merge. That'll merge all the vertices, and now that if you highlight a vertice, you'll find that it is no longer V-cut. Okay, so each part has to have that occur. Merge. Okay, now here's a quicker way to do that. If you grab the one part, vertex, since I merged it before, hit G on the keyboard, and you see poly merge vertice. So G is last command. So grab each component, G, 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 now these other parts up here are actually floating objects, so I'm not really worried too much about these, and these strings are floating objects also. Now there really is no way to test this, make sure. So if you're in any doubt, always just kind of go back and triple check that you've merged all the points. Alright, so now we're ready to take this in ZBrush and see the advantage. So go back to object mode and highlight all the pieces and go mesh combine. Alright, and we're going to export this out and call it violin parts and hit export. And I'll meet you in ZBrush and show you the advantage of doing so. Okay, so here I am in ZBrush, and what I'm just going to do is import that violin. The violin is just an example. You don't have to download the violin because I didn't share it with you, but it's just an example. Come on. There we go. Violin parts. Voila. It's violin. Okay, so not much difference, right? I mean, it's a whole object. If I hit frame, it's a whole object. But seamlessly enough, if you go into polygroups and hit auto group and then go to frame, you're going to find out it's made of many groups. Okay, each group making it a lot easier to texturize it. But here goes the problem. What happens when I go in here in geometry divide? It separates the edges. Okay, so Control Z, and you'll find out that if you hit crease, now crease works a lot better in ZBrush 3.1. Before, it always like tore a little bit. So just kind of know it is pretty indestructible now. Okay, now that it's creased, and when I hit divide, you'll find out that it stays true. Okay, and all these objects are still separated, but in a way that they will never come apart. So I'm going to just divide this up and show you the advantages of it on a quick section here. So do I have 1.5 million? Yes. Take off frame. And let's just fill this object with Fast Shader 4 with white, color, RBG, color, fill object. Okay, so now it's all white. In my texturizing mode, I want to make sure I have colorize on. And if I have frame on real quick, I can hide certain texture parts, like this one. Okay, so this one's going to have bird's eye maple on it, and I've already taken the time to actually download bird's eye maple texture. So turning off frame, I'm going to go into projection master and go to colors and fade and double-sided. Okay, and with my favorite brush here, my directional brush, I have already my bird's eye maple texture that I got. I'm just going to simply, with the RBG value on, click and drag out. Now I like using this brush because it stays the texture true, meaning the resolution stays pretty good when you do this method, as long as you have enough polygons to actually accept the resolution. Like I usually have 8 million to accept this much. Why? Because it's an overkill, I know, but okay, so here, pick up now. Okay, and then I can go all the way around this one part. Now here's another tip real quick. If you grab the color of this and color fill object with the RBG value on, it's the same color as that texture. So now, you know, if you miss a spot with the fade, it's not so apparent. Okay, so now I'm just going to redo that. And you see, because I don't have enough polygons, it will not accept that much resolution. So I'm not going to beat it to death. I know it won't. Another tip real quick, come on, is to turn off the alpha, and you can also paint it out, and you can see I get even better resolution sometimes. The problem is now I have overlapping seams, and I can't use radial fall off. So turn off fade, and let me just do the bottom here, just like kind of like that with fade on. There, good enough. Control Shift, and you can see that part has now accepted that texture really well, and all the rest of them have nice clean seams. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have for you. It's just a real quick demonstration of what you can do when you separate your objects and use crease within ZBrush. Again, my name is Jason Welsh. Enjoy.